This is chapter 3 of the story Found in Space, Lost in Time. The title of the chapter is Discovery of Nocea. After years of work, Sotsi mined resources, brought more and more robots to build, expanded the team of scientists, and constructed the first black hole orbiter that's meant to be unmanned, and he named it Hawk 1. There were many challenges to overcome and technologies to develop. Traveling at higher speeds than ever before, avoiding antimatter pockets, maneuvering on optimal path, shielding the hardware, and more importantly for later, shielding the crew. He gained leading-edge knowledge of ship design and managed through the physics simulator to solve all expected problems to reach the black hole. Multiple discoveries and inventions by his team led to the development of a magnetic shield able to protect the ship from antimatter pockets. An onboard short-range UDC allowed the detection of larger space anomalies to avoid along the path. A fully independent intelligence system was designed to autonomously navigate the ship, send back reports on the best path, and attempt to orbit the black hole on arrival. Hawk 1 was launched as soon as it was completed, and the arrival time was calculated to be 3 years. Messages kept arriving back to Stanislav, with every milestone successfully passed, and a stable orbit was confirmed 6 years later. Sotsi rejoiced. Hawk 2 was ready with a further enhanced UDC, a higher travel speed, and a double-shielded human crew cabin. Decades had passed, but decades were no longer as long as they used to be for natural human longevity. Sotsi, with the latest commercialized genetic modifications, had an expected life of a few centuries. Sotsi embarked on the first human journey to a black star, taking with him as many resources as possible to build an additional ship in orbit and study the black hole for a year. The journey was to take 8 months, enough time to work further on the design devices and technologies to run measurements from orbit. The core of Sotsi's ambitious project was the fusion-powered beam machine, a sophisticated device engineered to harness and accelerate a concentrated beam of high-energy neutrinos to near light speeds. This powerful beam was aimed directly into the swirling chaos of the black hole, designed to penetrate its impenetrable darkness and extract physical properties from within. The theory was audacious, positing that black holes, often thought of as mere gravitational sinks, could also be sources of unknown forms of energy, and even matter that could exist within the singularity. As they neared the black hole, Sotsi's team prepared for orbiting automated maneuvers, scanned the black hole's gravity field, and simulated billions of orbit paths, attempting to find the most stable orbit with the highest chance of matter or energy ejection proximity. At the same time, they calibrated the beam machine for the highest extraction chance. With the orbiting successful, Hawk 2 became the first manned mission to orbit a black hole, and at a proximity that was previously thought impossible. With everything set and ready, the day of the experiment was charged with palpable tension. Scientists and engineers from various disciplines gathered in the control room, their eyes fixed on the monitors displaying the beam's penetration into the black hole's event horizon. Sotsi, calm yet visibly tense, supervised the activation of the beam. As the machine buzzed to life, sending a stream of accelerated neutrinos into the cosmic maelstrom, the readings on their instruments began to spike unexpectedly. The team watched in awe as the beam seemed to interact with the black hole in unforeseen ways, throwing out a shimmering, luminescent essence. As the essence hit the external shield of the ship, it turned into a solid matter, resembling exactly the metal that the shield was made of. After collection, it was confirmed that it was indeed the same metal, which defied their scientific understanding. On his second trial, a block of polymer was shot into the essence, and once in contact, the essence mutated into the same polymer. They had discovered Nocea, a substance that appeared to be the physical embodiment of the mythical energy described in the ancient Balnasir's text. Nocea was described as an essence of matter without form, but it could be converted into whatever the gods willed. Of course, the ancient texts might not describe the science behind the phenomenon, but at least the observation showed that such an essence existed in the universe. Sotsi's discovery was exhilarating, but also deeply troubling. The existence of Nocea brought with it a multitude of scientific and philosophical questions. Sotsi found himself drawn back to the ancient Balnasir scriptures, poring over texts that spoke of Nocea as a sacred essence collected by the gods from the waste of the universe, rejuvenated through celestial processes governed by the deities Belnazu and Belhurs. These scriptures describe Nocea as a fundamental component in the cycle of cosmic creation and destruction, a substance capable of influencing the material world. The parallels between these ancient beliefs and his scientific findings were striking, and Sotsi began to wonder if science was merely catching up with truth the Balnasirs had known centuries ago. The implications of wielding Nocea were profound. Sotsi convened meetings with his peers aboard the station, presenting his findings and seeking counsel on the ethical dimensions of their research. The debates that ensued were heated and multifaceted, touching on the responsibilities of scientists to their subjects, the potential hazards of interacting with cosmic forces, and the moral implications of using such power. Nocea would allow them to produce the rarest of materials in quantities never before believed possible. Materials that could power ship engines and shields that were only imagined. The financial potential as a mining source was huge. Many entities would fight to obtain control of such an extraction method, and it would be the ultimate mining technology. As Sotsi grappled with these conflicts, he realized that his discovery of Nocea was not just a scientific milestone, but also a spiritual crossroad. The choices he made going forward would define not only his legacy, but potentially the future of humanity's interaction with the cosmos. Determined to proceed with caution and respect for both the scientific and spiritual implications of his work, Sotsi set up a comprehensive study program to explore Nocea under controlled conditions, hoping to unravel its secrets without unleashing its full potential prematurely. This careful approach marked a new phase in his journey, balancing the thrill of discovery with the weight of his responsibilities.